Alright then, let's see if this works. I'm going to try out Assault on Osgiliath. This scenario is incredibly difficult. Basically, you've got to make sure that all Osgiliath locations that are in play are in your control. And if you do that, you win. So in theory, you could win super quick, or you could not. The deck is full of horrendous enemies. I'm going to try closing that window. Full of horrendous enemies and bad news. So realistically, this is either going to be over very quick, one way or the other, probably. The longer it drags out, the worse for me. So, 4, 5, 6 cards start in hand. Gandalf, Test of Will, Snowborn Scout, which is pretty useless because you can't put progress tokens on cards in the staging area, but you can obviously put them if they're not in the staging area. Dunedain Mark. Now Northern Tracker is pretty blooming useless, and the West Road Traveller. Not terrible. Oh god, I prefer games where you can sit on your mulligan. I'm going to mulligan. So I had to choose a unique Osgiliath location. There were 4 choices. I've gone for Ancient Harbour, which is 1 threat, 5 progress. Can't travel there, and as a combat act, the only way you can get progress on there is the combat action. Exhaust a hero to place 1 progress token on Ancient Harbour. There's no progress required in this. Basically, questing is just to mitigate threat. And then forced, after the player who controls Ancient Harbour lets an attack go undefended, return Ancient Harbour to the staging area. And likewise, the Southern Phalanx is like one of the only weak enemies. Correction, the only weak enemy in this scenario. So only 1 attack, 1 threat, 2 defense, 3 hit points. But then when engaged with the player, the Southern Phalanx gets +1 attack for each one they control. Honestly, there are enemies that if they come out the deck in the first round, it's basically over. So, fun. Let's see how that goes. 3, 4, 5, 6. So, boom. Gladrian's Handmaid, Sneak Attack, and Gandalf. So right there's a combo. Dunedain Mark, Treebeard, and Hasty Stroke. So not bad. Right. First turn, we draw the Heir of Madril. Oh. Well, that's pretty awesome. So, touch for Noble Hero. After the attached hero gains any number of resources from a card effect, exhaust Heir of Madril to ready attached hero. I can never tell if Theodred's is a card effect. When he commits to a quest, gives somebody that a resource. Realistically, I can't be committing Theodred to the quest anyway. So, right, and resources. Okie dokie. So, not a lot we can do here, which is to say, nothing we can do here. So that Southern Phalanx is going to engage, and I have nothing really that I would want to defend against it, because that's also going to take a hero out of the mix. Do you know what, I could go for a rather controversial play here. Let's give it a go. So, Theodred is going to spend his resource to play Sneak Attack, putting into play Gandalf, who will do 4 damage to the Southern Phalanx, which is ridiculously over the top, but it just clears that enemy. And then I'm in a position where I can just quest with Eowyn. No, Gandalf's only going to be around for the round. So quest with Gandalf and then just hope I'm lucky on the enemies. So just Gandalf questing. The Haradrim Elite. What fun. 3 threat, 4 attack, 3 defense, 3 defense, 3 hit points. Jesus. When it enters play, it makes an immediate attack from the staging area against the first player. Grand. So that is basically going to kill anything. So, cool. Well, this will be over quick then. So, card goes on to Haradrim Elite, makes an attack against Theodred. No shadow text, which means he takes 3 wounds and is exhausted. That's 4 threats. 4 threat, 4 willpower. Gandalf goes back into my hand because of sneak attack. No progress, but you can't place any progress anyway. Can't travel to the Ancient Harbour. Haradrim Elite engage. Attacks Aragorn. Attacking enemy gets +2 attacks. That's 6 attack, which means that is 4 wounds onto Aragorn. And Eowyn exhausts to put a progress onto Ancient Harbour. And then threat up by 1. And into the second round. Cool. Well, I don't need to worry about my iPad running out of battery because this is going to be over quick. The Envoy of Pelagia, who is pretty freaking helpful right now because she's going to mean that the Haradrim Elite can at least hit something that isn't one of my heroes. And then resources. So let's go for the Envoy of Pelagia. And let's go for Galadriel's Handmaid. So spend the 2 for Envoy and the 2 for Galadriel's Handmaid, and we will give that extra resource to Eowyn. And lower my threat by 1. I can die with Sauron's Eye not on me. That's 29. Questing. Galadriel's Handmaid will quest. Oh, street fighting. When revealed, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an Osgiliath location is discarded. The first player may exhaust a hero to take control of that location. Otherwise, add that location to the staging area. This effect cannot be cancelled. Cool. So let's discard cards till we get another. Oh, good. Skip to Harad. There are a lot of enemies ready to come out and fight me. Jeez Louise. This has just been solid enemies. Osgiliath. Ruined Square. Does it... The first player exhaust a hero. Right, so I can exhaust a hero to take that... Well, that just seems like a... If the player controls the ruined square when a character leads play, return ruined square to the staging area. Well, if I don't exhaust a hero to take it, then I will add it to the staging area. Does that mean the surge takes place or not? I'm going to say that the surge doesn't take place. That might be wrong, but it's not going to make much of a difference. So that's 2 threat, 2 willpower, net nothing. Haradrim Elite attacks the Envoy of Pelagia. Cool, no shadow text. Kills her. And then we can attack for 6, which would kill the Haradrim Elite. We're realistically going to have to do that. So 3 of us attack, kill the Haradrim Elite. No progress put on there, but such is life. Up to 30 threat. 1 card and resources. We've got Valiant Sacrifice. After an ally leaves play, draw 2 cards. Oh, that's bound to happen. So we've got 5 resources. That would be enough to buy Gandalf. There is not a lot else going on in my hand. Or we could go for Treebeard. Let's go for Treebeard. Let's see if we can survive enough turns for him to do anything. Cool. Handmaiden goes on a quest. East Quarter. While the East Quarter is the active location. Oh, of course we could have travelled to Ruined Square. Well, let's say we did that. There's no reason not to. When the East Quarter is the active location, the current quest gains battle. We quest with our attack instead of our will. So that's 3 against 2. We gain a threat. But no enemies, which normally would be like, oh no, all my wasted heroes. But they ain't. So all 3 exhaust. And on there. You might be thinking I could have like multi-exhausted Aragorn to exhaust ready with the resource in the quest phase to put another token onto Ancient Harbour, but I can only do the action in the combat phase. So, well, Treebeard's here, so that's cool. Right. Add a card, and a threat. Up to 32. Orofin. Ranged. After he enters play, return a Sylvan ally from your discard pile to your hand. No Sylvans have died. So, we've got enough resources to play Gandalf. I feel like we're going to need to sit on Gandalf. Nothing screams play me, so let's just sit on our resources. So, questing, there's 3 in the area now. I feel like we can afford to be a little braver. So, Eowyn and Gladriel's Handmaid, off you go. It is counter-attack, Surge. When revealed, each player must either return the location he controls with the greatest threat to the staging area, or raise his threat by the total threat of all locations he controls. I can do neither of those things, so nothing bad. Surge. The Uruk Soldier. 1 threat, 4 attack, 1 defense, 2 hit points. Forced. After he attacks and destroys a character, that character's controller returns a location he controls to the staging area if able. Cool. So that's 4. Gladriel is 4. And the Handmaid is 2, which is just enough to finish Ruined Square. Which means we can travel somewhere else. So let's travel to the East Quarter. And then we're going to have to fight the Uruk Soldier. Obviously Treebeard's well lined up to take that hit. So Uruk Soldier on Treebeard. The attacking enemy gets +1, +3 if it's Harad. So that means it's 5. -3 defense is 2 wounds. Let's take that. Sod it. Good work, Treebeard. And then Aragorn can kill the Uruk Soldier. And Theodred can put 1 onto Ancient Harbour, which takes control of Ancient Harbour. So, we're now in the situation where if no Osgiliath location comes out the deck next, and we finish the East Quarter, we win. So, go figure. Another Gandalf. It's like the game's telling me something. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 1 for Treebeard. Now, obviously, I could use Treebeard's resources to pay for a Gandalf, but I also have the option to spend his resources to ready him, which gives me more flexibility. So, I feel like playing Gandalf here is not a bad call. So, let's give it a go. So, playing Gandalf. So that's 5 resources. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got nothing to deal damage to. Do I want to draw 3 more cards? Can't really think of a card off the top of my head that's going to make a difference here. So if you don't want, let's lower the threat. Not that I'm really thinking about that score, but... Okay, so... I've got the Gladriel's Handmaid as a... Well, we do really either win it on this turn or not, because when Gandalf leads play, he will make the Ruined Square leave my control. So it's all or nothing. So let's send Theodred and Aragorn. Let's give a resource to Aragorn, which he spends to ready himself. Let's send Treebeard and let's send Gandalf, because we're questing with battle. So it is the Orc War Camp. It's on an Osgiliath location. It's 5 threat and 2 progress required. If an Orc enemy is in play, progress tokens cannot be placed on the Orc War Camp. Not a problem. That's 5 threat. That is Aragorn and Theodred. That's 8 progress onto the East Quarter. All the Osgiliath locations are at play. So I win. Well, that was anticlimactic. Talk about an assault Osgiliath. Well, I mean, I guess if you're going to assault Osgiliath and you're going to bring Treebeard and Gandalf with you, I guess it could go well. See, to me, that just feels like a massively anticlimactic scenario. I actually, like, the deck discarding all those enemies was actually to my favour. And to only see 3 Osgiliath locations, I feel guilty about some of the potential cheats now, but I guess you just got to take the wins when you get them. I'll try and work on the lighting for next time, because this has been pretty shocking. I've tried to use natural light. Let's see if with the blinds closed and the lights on it makes any difference. Yeah, the artificial setup's probably better. Oh well, there we go. Right, success.